Captain's Log Supplemental. Okay, so I know Starfleet has seen some really crazy customs from all sorts of different species. Jonathan Archer having to perform a ritual with a ceremonial chainsaw immediately comes to mind. Uh, we've been enjoying our time on Maya 4 for the most part. The one thing that's been driving me crazy, though, is their equivalent to, I guess, church bells is probably the best thing. There's no angelic choir, no chimes to serenade the passing of time from dusk to dusk. No, what they have I can only describe as a loud, shrieking rubber chicken that can be heard from the center of the city all the way out into the closer suburbs where we are currently staying. It is absolutely terrifying that at the top of every hour, you just hear a rubber duck screaming.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Stanford. I am joined this week, as in most weeks, by my two friends and co-hosts, Rob and Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
And we are joined by our lovely producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
Captain's Log Supplemental is a Star Trek rewatch podcast where we're rewatching all of Star Trek in chronological canon order. We got through Enterprise, took a quick sidestep into the original pilot, TOS. Now we're into season 2 of Discovery and, moving quite right along. As I say at the top and the bottom, please give us a rate, give us a review. If you like what you hear, tell other people about it. If you don't like what you hear, tell other people that you like it, but then, tell me that you hate it, because I love hearing it. So, totally fine. So hey, what's up?
Just so the kids are in 6th grade now, which means they are taking individual classes and everything now. One of them being kind of a technology, like science and technology class, right?
Sure.
And so being in these classes now, they of course get demonstrations, right, to show you how various things work. I got to we were not serenaded. We were regaled with the story of one of these the other night at dinner. Their teacher, who I'll preface this by saying is already missing a finger,
Amazing,
was doing a scientific a scientific demonstration. It had something to do with the kids couldn't describe it very well. That was not the part they were centered on.
Surprise.
But it was some type of pressurized chamber and some type of rocket or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but
Like a
apparently
rocket?
something like that, yeah. And this gentleman who's like has his own contracting company, but also does science teaching.
Man, I wonder how he lost his finger.
Right?
Exactly. Apparently something was not quite right because it exploded.
amazing.
Oh no.
And he's like, yeah, man, I think it exploded his finger. He was just clutching it and there was blood everywhere.
Oh God!
Oh, no.
Oh no! He's like, yeah, and he's already missing a finger.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we did hear the update. He went to the hospital. Did not explode his finger. He did apparently cut it to the bone though. So he's gonna be out for a minute. But
Jesus Christ!
Did not explode it. Apparently, so there was some type of not, I don't want to say shrapnel. That seems too dramatic, but debris that hit him primarily, and also apparently a couple of the students too, but they weren't injured.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Yeah, it was a real good one.
Maybe this guy should just be a teacher or not at all.
Right.
I'm gonna vote for not at all.
No. He gave the kids a very good demonstration on what not to do.
Yeah, can you finish up your fucking baking, honey? Wow, that made it sound like she's just some kind of homemaker.
I'm pretty sure you just told her to get back in the kitchen. I think that's just what happened.
Get back in the kitchen so that I don't have to hear that fucking beeping anymore. It's interrupting me in my bro time.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's funny because I don't know. Not you two have jobs, so you don't have to say anything. But man, fuck Charlie Kirk. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So in other news, like I haven't been sleeping very well because like my leg hurts a little bit. And because I'm
What I
disabled.
miss.
He's trying to get us fired from our jobs.
Oh.
So and because I'm disabled, I'm not able to move around, so like it hurts. So like I think tonight my plan is that I'm gonna take some Benadryl because you can't feel pain when you're in a coma.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's my emergency sleep plan tonight.
Sure.
I have a funny
Man.
story related to Benadryl.
Do tell.
We had to ban nurses from buying the bottles of Benadryl at the pharmacy. One of them realized that like they could buy the really big bottle that was normally just for dispensing to medical units
Sure.
through our employee pharmacy.
Oh yeah.
And they were using it to knock their kids out on long
sorry.
flights or road trips for vacations.
I'm sorry. This is gonna be a hot take, but if you use Benadryl to make your kids go to sleep, you're a bad parent.
But if you use it to make yourself go to sleep,
Judging by I'm an adult. I can consent to myself.
I've never given kids Benadryl to make them go to sleep. We have given them some melatonin on occasion when like we're like traveling and things like that to help them sleep, but that's it.
I'm not a fan of the melatonin thing. However, at least that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not calling you a bad parent for giving your kid melatonin every once in a while. I do not think that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a fan.
He is calling you a bad parent for sending your kids to a school with a science teacher that's missing.
No. That's an amazing parent. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of melatonin, mostly because like everyone's like it's a non-habit forming sleep aid. Fuck off. There's no such thing as a non-habit forming sleep aid. Like everything is a habit forming sleep aid. But if you're like dosing your kid with fucking Benadryl because you want them to sleep, that's oh god.
That's not good. Yeah.
So like the funny thing about Benadryl, like that's what they put in Advil PM, Tylenol PM. Like if you get ZZZZ time at like your CVS or whatever, that's all it is. It's just Benadryl.
Yeah, and that stuff's not for kids either.
No.
Tell you what though. Kids are missing out because, man, waking up off a Benadryl bender, fuck yeah, baby. Oh, man,
dude,
it fucking rips.
Have you ever tried melatonin?
I have not, actually.
It gives me horribly vivid dreams. Like,
I already have horribly vivid dreams.
Yeah,
you know what's funny?
You have anxiety. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go well for you.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
The stuff I take for my migraines also does make you drowsy. And I have the exact opposite effect of that. Like I remember, I remember so much fewer dreams than I used to.
Interesting.
Weird. You know what made me start remembering almost all of my dreams? When I got a CPAP machine for my sleep apnea, and I was actually sleeping well again.
And your brain was getting oxygen?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, surprising. I know.
See, I've heard different things on this, and it's always convinced me that we know very little about sleep in general. Like,
oh yeah,
but I've always heard that remembering dreams is you're remembering from the times you're like in lighter sleep.
So it's not. You are more likely to remember dreams that you have in lighter sleep, but remembering dreams in general is not associated with lighter sleep. But yes, those like times when you drop into REM, like right as you're getting to sleep or right like as you're starting to wake up, those dreams are usually easier to remember. Yes. Yeah. They're also the ones that are easiest to lucid dream in. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I always when I am dreaming, I usually can get to the point where I'm like, this is a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why hallucinations are terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is a dream, and then it doesn't end, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Okay, you already talked about hallucinations. You don't get to talk
yeah.
about it again.
All right. Okay, let's see. Lost a finger, almost got them fired, talked about doing Benadryl. Okay, I think we got everything taken care of.
Yeah.
So this week's episode is called Light and Shadows. It is season 2, episode 7. Do you have a trivia note right at the top here, Chris?
I don't have one right at the top on this one, no.
All right, well, you dropped the ball because this episode does not have a recap, and it is only the second episode of Discovery to do that.
I did personally note that it did not have a recap. I did not include that as trivia, though.
Yeah, the first one was like the pilot, and then everything else has always had a recap.
Interesting.
It would have been really funny if they had a recap for the pilot.
We start with Burnham giving a kind of a voiceover about like mysteries come in threes or whatever, and then she just like says part of the like Schoolhouse Rock song about three, and then like lets us know that the Red Angel is from the future, which again there's no actual evidence of. They just like to think that, and I guess joke's on me because it turns out to be true, but that's only because they know the writers. Okay, so they one kind of interesting thing as she is talking to Pike as they're going through the corridors here, and this is another trivia note. Chris, do you have this trivia note about the shuttle?
Packing? No. What was the note that you have? I don't have.
Oh man, I'm just doing your fucking job this week. So they say that like Spock's shuttle disappeared somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But that like directly conflicts with the information we saw on screen where they found Spock's shuttle and it had Georgiou in it. And like I was on Memory Alpha and they're like, there's no reconciliation of these two concepts. Like there's nothing that explains how this works.
Sure.
But Burnham's like, yo, I gotta find Spock. Pike's like, okay. And she's like, I'm going to Vulcan, so I need my basically my PTO. And Pike's like, we don't get paid. And she's like, well, I'm going anyways. On the bridge, the Discovery is sticking around Kaminar to like review where the signal was. Tilly comes on and explains how fucking awesome the signal is because there's like a shit ton of tachyons or something in it. And she says it's freaking awesome and she's the best.
Yeah, my note here was Tilly rambles about science stuff excitedly.
Yeah, Tilly's.
Saru gets upset.
Yeah, he does. Pike's like, yeah, okay, like let's study this, figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Tyler comes onto the bridge and is like, yo, Pike, is Burnham going to Vulcan or doing something? Where's Burnham going? And Pike's like, I don't have to tell you dick about Burnham. It's her personal leave. And Tyler's like, yes, you do. Here's my badge to prove it. And Pike throws the badge back at him and says, that don't prove shit, fuckface. Get the fuck out of here. And then before Pike actually punches him in the face, the alarms go off because where the signal was, a fucking time rift opens up. And I don't know. Someone said, oh, what the frick? I assumed that was Tilly, and it was funny.
Yeah, that was Tilly. Yeah, because then she commented about how she got told to stop cursing. Which is
yeah. The time rift, very bright.
Very bright time rift, yeah. Pike gets into the turbo lift to go somewhere. I don't remember where he's headed. But Tyler goes with him.
To the shuttle.
Oh, is he going to the shuttle now?
Right.
I guess, yeah. Oh, that's
we get
right.
like the after imaging things on the bridge because shit's wonky from the time.
Yeah, they're going to shoot a probe, but that doesn't really work. So like we need to get closer to the shuttle. So Pike's like, I'm the captain. I'm the best person to get in the shuttlecraft into the dangerous mission.
Everybody's like, no, you probably should. And he's like, well, I'm gonna.
There's a dumb explanation for this later that came out of nowhere. But we'll get to it.
It was very dumb.
He jumps.
I wouldn't say nowhere, but it was.
No, it's fucking. There was
only briefly mentioned in like one previous episode.
I don't remember it at all, and my head is famously a steel trap. So, they get on the turbo lift, and we get these like cuts of the turbo lift, and I'm not a fan of how the turbo lift works in New Trek.
There's just this fucking null space.
That's my issue.
Ship.
My issue is that like we have deck plans. Where is this space?
Right.
Like
we didn't have to do this.
Especially because and I'm not an expert on engineering and whatnot by any means, but it seems like a cavernous area filled with shit that's hard to get to would be a bad idea for a ship that's going to be out needing repairs.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point of this? What are we Why would an engineer design a ship like that?
And I guess, like, I never really understood the need for this because we all just assumed it was a fancy elevator. You don't have to be, like, crazy about it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's not like we didn't need to make it the tubes from Futurama. Like, what are we doing?
Right, yeah. I don't know. I guess because it's got the word turbo on it, so they're like, it's gotta be fucking crazy. Pike basically tells Tyler to shut his fucking mouth. Tyler's like, nah. But then I guess Tyler ends up going with him on the shuttle. I'm not sure we're there yet. Maybe that comes back later. Yeah, okay. This is where we get the opening credits. Act 1 starts with Burnham, like, flying through Vulcan, and as much as this makes me, like, fucking kitschy and sappy as shit, I thought it was cool. It was, like, a nice effect of her, like, flying through fucking Vulcan with the other little shuttlecrafts and shit.
I thought that was nice.
Cool.
No complaints there. I thought that was nice.
I thought it was cool. Like, we got to see a little bit of rain on Vulcan, too. Like, it's always shown as, like, just a complete desert world. So it was nice seeing, like, not desert.
I mean, it rained blood, but...
I do have a trivia note here.
Oh, shit, finally. When there's some trivia you can't miss, it's a fun fact with Chris.
So this episode was directed by Marta Cunningham, who is the real-life spouse of James Frain, who plays Sarek.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Although... was she mad at him? Because he, like, sat in the corner for most of the episode.
Well, she directed it. She didn't write it.
Oh, fair enough. As Burnham gets to her childhood home, she's flashbacks. She's flashbacking. To her time as, like, a child with, little Spock. They're cute kids. Like, kids are cute. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. The child actors are, like, fine. So, like, it's actually a nice little scene. However, like, you get a quick cut between, like, when she was introduced to Spock and, like, later after her and Spock are kind of, like, hanging out, like, months later or whatever. And they fucked her hair up so bad.
Well, yeah, they gave her the Vulcan bowl cut, so.
Yeah, and I don't want to be, let's see. I don't want to be, I think it'd be a playfully race adjacent, but, like, obviously there's no real black people on Vulcan because they fucked her hair up. Like, cause they give her, like, the standard bowl cut. Yeah. And before that she had, like, just, like, a classic, like, gorgeous set of, like, very tight, like, black hair curls, you know? That they're like, no, fucking bowl cut. And she looks terrible.
It looks real bad. Like, yeah, that is not a haircut that person should have at all.
Not even a little bit. Not that she's not welcome to it. She is welcome to it. It's just doing her no favors. Like, that's a dork-ass white person haircut. Knock that shit off.
That's a dork-ass anybody haircut.
So... like, in a lot of Asian cultures, bowl cuts are a thing, and it doesn't look as bad because they, like, do it more regularly, I guess, so it looks better. I don't know. Anyways, her hair's all fucked up. Back in the present, Burnham's like, you gotta stop being mad at me to Amanda, and I don't know. Again, my head, steel trap. Why is Amanda mad at Burnham exactly?
No, I was definitely confused with this as well.
So a couple episodes ago, do you remember how Burnham was explaining to Amanda that she felt the only way that she could protect not only Spock, but also Amanda and Sarek was to, like, alienate them as much as possible so that they wouldn't be associated with her because of the bombing that happened at the Vulcan Learning Center.
So I remember her explaining that, but I don't remember her explaining that to Amanda.
So yes, it was when Amanda came back asking Burnham for help in finding Spock. Burnham, like, revealed to her that she might not be the best person to talk to Spock because the last real conversation they had was so disruptive and so terrible that it made Spock hate her forever.
I don't remember them parting on poor terms.
Right,
though.
Because, like, Amanda's still a fucking adult and knows that children are children. Like, what?
No, dude, she was mad. when she left, she's like, you know what? Don't even bother helping me because clearly, like, you've just destroyed any relationship you had with your brother. And then she took Spock's medical files
I
before
remember
Burnham
her
had a chance to
taking the
look at 'em and
files.
just ran.
All right, I didn't realize
Okay,
she was so catty in that.
Maybe
moment.
I misconstrued that scene because I did not get any of that.
No,
Oh yeah, Amanda was pissed.
Well, it seems like a silly
I disagree.
reason.
I don't remember that. Like, I remember her saying,
I remember
I'm
her
going to do
taking the
this.
files. I thought she took the files because she was worried that Pike and Burnham were kind of like, look, we're Starfleet. We kind of have to hand these over. And I thought she was like, well, I'm going to take them so that you don't have to. And I thought it was like implied that Burnham was like, yes, please do, because I have to hand them over.
No, like she even made some comment about how, like, well, I guess this is why we can never see the both of you at the same time on the holidays. Like, she was not happy. She was mad.
I think the fact that 2 of the 3 of us not getting this emotional motivation whatsoever speaks to the fact that it was not written well.
I like how Amanda's like, don't even bother coming to Vulcan Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, anyways, apparently Amanda's mad at her, but they get over it. Back on the shuttlecraft with Pike and Tyler, my first note is Pike being on this shuttle is very, very stupid. Tilly's explaining that they have to be like careful how they go in and out of the rift because like they might get the time bends. Like a diver gets bends, they're gonna get time bends. And someone's like, time bends, and she's like, yeah, everything sounds cooler when you put time in front of it, which is A, just a funny thing to say, and B, objectively cool. Like, yeah, objectively true. They hit some time turbulence, and Pike sees like a time flashback forward thing of himself shooting Ash. Although, thankfully, the writers decided that the audience would be best kept in the dark about what was actually happening because it was suspenseful that way. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the fucking tentacle monster was not in the flashback.
Nope.
No,
you see, it couldn't be in the flashback because it was from 500 years into the future, so it didn't exist at the point at which Pike had the flashback, so it was invisible.
Yeah, that's as good an explanation as
I'm gonna be honest, like not the worst I've heard. Like, yeah, I could almost buy that.
Oh god.
So, anyways, the turbulence goes off, and the Pike shooting Ash flashback, and then they kind of lose the shuttle in the time rift. Something kind of interesting happened here, and this is I'm not sure what I think of this. I think it's stupid, but like I'm willing to be wrong. So one of the things that people complain about in New Trek is like the way the computers look, because they're like doing that kind of Marvel universe like glass panel that you can see through and stuff. And like 2 things. 1, it is silly because that seems really hard to look at. But 2, it's obviously like a cinematography thing so that you can see them doing stuff, but also see their fucking faces. So like, I get it. It's fine. But Saru comes up to, I think, the comm guy, Reese or whatever. And like, he's like, da-da-da-da. And then Saru manipulates his user interface from the other side of the screen, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like, that seems dumb to me that that's an option.
Probably.
Especially because, like, it's not like it's a reverse screen. Like, everything's reversed on it. He can't see. I don't know. It was weird. It's a weird choice that they made. And I feel like it's because the actor who's playing Saru just came up and touched the monitor, and the visual effects people were like, well, shit.
You know, that's not the craziest explanation.
Yeah, it's like either that he's wiping dust off or he's gonna toggle this toggle. Okay. Anyways, they're having trouble tracking down the shuttle because like time shit. So what they do is they go to Stamets, who has time plot armor. And Stamets is like, oh yeah, I'm immune to time shit, no problem.
Stamets is a time wizard.
Right. There was like some shockwave that like knocked stuff around, and then they lost the shuttle, and then Stamets is the time key.
Back on Vulcan, we go to the creepy whisper temple. It's just a temple full of whispering. Later, it turns out that it is Spock whispering, although they clearly layered him a bunch, so it sounds like more than one person. They show Spock for the first time in this series. That's not like a recording. And he looks fucking haggard. Like he's having a rough time of it.
Dude, I was just thinking like they need to have more Vulcans with beards.
I mean, I don't mind
goes
Ethan
against
Peck.
Their whole vibe though, right?
I don't mind Ethan Peck having a beard.
Speaking of Ethan Peck, I do have a trivia note here.
Fuck yeah, you do.
So Ethan Peck, grandson of veteran actor Gregory Peck, of course plays Spock, which was originally played by Leonard Nimoy. So I went down this rabbit hole on this because both Nimoy and Gregory Peck appeared in this like special called Night of 100 Stars in 1982, which was basically this like variety special with like various performances from a bunch of different actors.
Those kinds of stars. Okay. Yes.
So it was basically an all-star variety special that was celebrating the centennial of the Actors Fund of America. This particular special was meant to like fund the building of like some like retirement home for actors in New Jersey, which I thought was very weird and specific. But yes, both Gregory Peck and Leonard Nimoy appeared in this. And there's like this black and white photo of kind of the 100 stars, so to speak, which actually apparently there was more than 100, stars on there, but like they're all on this stage. And there's all sorts of different ones. And also like right in the middle of it is this person in a panda suit. And I really have questions about who that is.
Oh man. How did your rabbit hole not get further into the Night of 1,000 Stars or whatever the fuck?
Night of 100 Stars. Yeah, there's, so many people like from like older stars to newer at the time stars, like, Ed Asner, B. Arthur. They had Christopher Reeve. Gosh, so many people. Harry Belafonte, like so many people in this, and it was just trying to find information about this, and just what went on in this was just so funny, just learning everything. So, yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first time we see Ethan Peck in, like, not a recording. He is younger than us, by the way. He's, like, a year younger than me.
So he's our age, then.
Nice try. Oh, man, I'm going to be 40 in, like, 2 months. Yeah. Which is funny because friend of the pod, John, his birthday... This birthday is also in November. It's like 5 days before mine, but he's exactly a decade ahead. So like he's going to be 50, and that's funny to me.
Oh, I feel like we should have like some weird combined birthday party.
We do on Thursdays because we do for D&D night when it's someone's birthday, we do like a thing. And so John and I usually have the same night, like where one of us will pick dinner and the other will pick dessert.
Oh, Chris, we're not invited.
Oh.
I do not have the authority to invite you to D&D night, ironically.
Sad face.
I'd say I'd invite Chris, but he's not able to make it, so like,
I'll be there in spirit. How about that?
It's a couple thousand miles. It's fine.
Back at the temple, overlaying some of the like whispering is like a creepy laugh track every once in a while. They're just really layering on thick. There's a cool ass carving behind them though. I don't know what this temple is for. It seems abandoned except for Spock's hanging out there, but they got some cool ass carvings on the wall. Spock is barely repeating a bunch of numbers. Burnham asks, and I quote, "What are those numbers? Are they coordinates, command codes, birthdays?" Which seems like a wild leap at the end there. Like, coordinates, command codes, I get. Birthdays?
Dude, it was 8 digits, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like, why though? Like, of all of the things for numbers to mean, your list starts at coordinates, goes to command codes, and then goes to birthdays? Not ID numbers, not like social security number, nothing in between. Command codes and birthdays.
Yeah, it's the password to unlock his porn stash. That's what it is.
Yeah, after the numbers is the model of his first car.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, coming from someone who has had to like extract data from documents before. I see a 10-digit number. I'm thinking either birthday or telephone number.
You would. Telephone number? Like, that makes sense.
10 digit for a birthday?
I'm sorry. 8 digits.
Okay. All right.
8 digits for birthday, like 10 digits for phone number, 9 digits for social security number, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
Burnham's like, yo, like he's in trouble, and Amanda's like, he's got ambassadorial, like a diplomatic immunity, which is not true because he's a Starfleet officer. Like, his ambassadorial jurisdiction is null at that point. Like, he belongs to Starfleet, and they absolutely have jurisdiction over him.
I like how he came in. He's like, unless I say nah, bitch.
Has he shown up yet?
This is
right
when
after.
he shows up.
Yeah, it's right after she talks about how she could invoke diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, she's like diplomatic immunity because my husband's a diplomat, and her husband shows up and is like, nah, bitch, fuck you, fuck you. So yeah, Sarek comes in, and then Burnham and Amanda and Sarek talk about Spock while like he's not in the room, even though he's sitting right there.
Was he in the room though? Was he?
Is Spock in the room with us right now?
Oh, no. So wait, actually, Sarek hasn't shown up yet because we get a quick flashback to the shuttle real quick for Ash to lay on that, like, I know why you came on this dangerous mission is because you feel guilty for sitting out the war, which, like I said, comes out of fucking nowhere. I'm not sure, like, I guess you say that it got kind of mentioned, but, like, Pike has expressed no guilt that I've seen.
I agree. Like, there was like one scene in one of the episodes where they kind of talked about the overall like guilt of the Enterprise crew for having missed the war. Was it when number 1 was talking to him? Was that what it was?
It might have been. I do remember the conversation because, like, essentially he said something along the lines of like, you know, I felt bad that we couldn't do more in the war effort, and they're like, well, you know, couldn't afford having the flagship of the Federation destroyed, and you were so far away, like you never would have made it in time.
It seems like a big leap to go from that to I feel so much guilt I'm going to risk my life.
Yeah. Well, especially like knowing what we know about Pike from Strange New Worlds, like that's very...
Yeah. Coward's afraid to be in a fucking wheelchair. Like, Jesus Christ, what a little bitch.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, back on Vulcan, Sarek shows up, and Sarek's like, oh, no wonder I couldn't find Spock. You're in this temple, which is lined with such and such a material, which blocks psychic connections. First I'm hearing of this material. That sounds useful as fuck, considering how many goddamn psychic things happen to people. Can't line a spaceship with that? Like...
I need that.
Didn't he say it was like
that psychic
the Katra?
Yes, there was Katras, yeah.
Yeah, some sort of, well, but he said like lined with Katra stone or whatever the fuck. Like it was some kind of mineral, but I don't know if it was like, maybe it was Katra stones. Like maybe there's just a bunch here.
Made up for this platinonium is what it was.
Was that the material that Spock was desecrating with graffiti?
Yeah, well, he was carving right into that shit. Turns out Sarek's issue with everybody is that he just doesn't like Alice in Wonderland. Like he just thinks this is kind of a lame book. Like he's just not a fan. That's his entire fucking problem. Let's see. Either Sarek or Burnham drops this, like, I think it's Burnham, is like, logically, no one has more motive to heal Spock than Section 31, which is complete nonsense.
That was Sarek, yeah.
Was that Sarek? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Nope, it doesn't. Zero.
Flawless Vulcan logic.
My next note is, okay, back to the Death Shuttle. So back on Pike's lovely shuttle of death. They're like venting plasma, and you know, Ash is like, no, let's not. We need our fuel. And Pike's like, fuel ain't gonna do us any fucking good in here. Let's just vent plasma so they can find us. There's no clear sense of like how the timeness works, but like whatever, they're venting plasma, and then they just like aren't looking where they're going, so they hit something. But it turns out it's the probe that they sent originally. They just like run into it, which is funny.
But now it's angry.
But then the probe turns into one of those sentinels from the Matrix and starts fucking their shuttle up. And it turns out because the probe was taken 500 years into the future and altered by something and then sent back to fuck with Pike.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a one point where like it like breaches the shuttle's hull. I have questions.
Shut up. No, shut up.
Like, why do they still have atmosphere in the shuttle? Why is it still pressurized?
Chris, shut your fucking mouth.
Perfect.
That's why.
It was a perfect seal. Like, it was just wide enough.
Just so tight. Yep.
The tightest.
I think this is like, did the thing start? Yeah, it's like hacking their shuttle and taking data and shit.
Right. When it burst through the hull, yes. Then it like shot at their dashboard or whatever they fucking call it, the console.
Yeah.
Which I find it funny how much data is on the shuttle, like, because they don't have a connection to Discovery right now. So this is just data they have on the shuttle.
Yeah.
That's
Stuff
a good
from
question.
Wikipedia.
And like, I don't know, I could see an argument where like, I mean, sometimes away missions are on shuttles and you never know what might be useful on an away mission. But like, I don't know, that seems like a lot of data to just keep inside a shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sentinel from the Matrix. Okay, so Act 3 starts with us just taking him to Section 31. To Spock's going to Section 31 with Burnham. That's it. We're done. God, I hate Giorgio. I like how, like, so Section 31 is the try-hardiest motherfuckers in the world, right? Like, they're somehow more try-hard than the entire Mirror Universe combined. And, like, as evidence of that, there's this, like, Section 31 doctor who can't just wear a normal fucking lab coat. He has to wear this, like, creepy, clear plastic lab coat. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, well, yeah, it's because he's not actually a doctor. He's just a murderer.
He's just a murderer.
Yep.
Yeah, so, what is this motherfucker's name? The bald guy.
Leland.
Leland says that he needs you to understand that he has his best interest, that he has Spock's best interest in mind. Anyways, you're not allowed to stay here while we fuck with Spock's brain.
For no reason at all. It's totally fine. Shut up and leave.
Yeah. Burnham agrees to this for some reason and goes to give Ethan Peck a hug, which I wouldn't mind hugging Ethan Peck. Amanda never. Yeah. So we find out that Spock, in some kind of flashback, or no, Amanda told her in one of the temple scenes that, like, Spock had Vulcan dyslexia, and, like,
right.
It turns out that the numbers he's been spouting are backwards. So, two things. One, that's not how dyslexia works.
Shut up. It's Vulcan dyslexia. It's different. It's just in reverse.
It's much more logical.
Did Amanda not try the numbers backwards?
No, she's just,
it was 6 numbers. Like,
shut up.
What the fuck?
Shut up.
Anyways, Burnham's like, oh shit, the numbers are backwards. Aha. Whatever. And then back on Discovery. Wait, did we do the whole fucking Giorgio out in the hallway thing yet?
Not yet, no.
No, okay. Back on Discovery, Stamets and Tilly are like trying to figure out where the shuttle is based on the math, and everyone's like, it looks like meaningless gobbledygook, and Stamets is like, this math is meaningless to the human brain unless you're awesome like me.
Mm-hmm.
And then back on the shuttle, the tentacle monster has breached the shuttle, is hacking their thing, and then like grabs Tyler by the neck, and we get a repeat of the like flashback scene, but this time we can see that Pike is clearly shooting the tentacle, which, like, sure. This is where, like, they're like, it's from 500 years in the future, which at this point, I don't know why they are constantly surprised by the fact that things are from the fucking future. Like,
it happens a lot.
It happens a real lot to these people specifically.
What I want to know more is, why is it that they just assume that any higher level of technology is from the future immediately? Like, that's their first.
Yeah, because shut up. That's why.
Yep.
Anyway, Stamets figures out the math and beams himself onto the shuttle. Sure. We get an outside shot of the shuttle. It turns out that the shuttle is now a unicorn shuttle, which is very cute. Yeah, you like that? The Stamets manages to get the shuttle into a point where it is connected to Discovery. The hackomatic tentacle is now hacking to Discovery, and they're like, oh shit, which, like, just cut that connection. That's not hard to do. This is where, like, does Starfleet not have a single IT person?
No, we've established that. Sometimes they're in engineering, sometimes they're in ops. Like, people are just allowed to make their own programs and install it on the holodeck without any supervision. It's wild. And
like, all you needed was one person to be like, that's a weird connection from that shuttle. I'm going to cut this off till I know more about it, and you're done. They figure out a way to get the probe off, but then the probe starts moving. Oh, they're going to shoot the probe, but the probe's like starts moving around the shuttle, which is kind of funny because it's just kind of like tentacling around the shuttle. Back on Leland's dumb ship, Georgiou confronts Michael out in the hallway and is like, they're going to kill your brother. You love him, so you should save him. And she's like, why the fuck do you care? And Georgiou says, I know more about you than you could possibly know. Which didn't answer the question.
Not at all.
I do not understand Georgiou's motives whatsoever. Her character is fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Anyways, Georgiou is like, I got the cameras out here muted for a minute. You need to get into a fight with me and break your brother out of this. And then they just start fighting. And, like, the cameras come back on and they're just watching them fight. No one on the ship responds to, like, the tennis match grunting that's going on as, like, Burnham and Georgiou are like, as they're, like, kicking each other. It's like, it goes on for a while.
It's a long fight.
But eventually Burnham wins the staged fight, and goes and gets her brother. Back on Discovery, they're in the process of cutting the connection, but the evil, I don't know, tentacle AI thing hacks into a robot person, our famous robot person, because, you know, that's a thing that can happen.
She's a cyborg, not a robot.
Do you know how you know that she got hacked?
Yeah, because her irises have these specially programmed I've been hacked lights that go on in 3 red. Which, like, was it supposedly that she was hacked through the eyeballs? I feel like security on a cybernetic thing would not let that happen.
Yeah.
I've seen the computer who wore tennis shoes. You shouldn't let yourself be hacked, like, via, like, your ears or eyes or whatever.
Sure.
That's a reference for John. Okay, let's see. Burnham gets Spock to the shuttlecraft, and they're, like, trying to stop her, but she gets out of the bay of the Leland's dumb ship and warps off, like, instantaneously. It was actually kind of cool. Anyways, there's a time tsunami coming for the Discovery. They luckily get the shuttle back on board and get out of there before the time tsunami hits them. I guess the time tsunami isn't a problem for Kaminar, though.
No, it's fine. How close was it? I don't know.
Right next to it?
Good, like right there. Yeah, you could see it from the planet.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're responsible for the death of her parents, is what I have written down here, which someone must have said.
Yeah, so Georgiou... Yeah, Leland tries to, like, I guess, gotcha right. Georgiou.
Georgie gives her the old "I am the captain now" speech.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Georgiou blackmails Leland by saying, like, "I'll tell her that you're responsible for the death of her parents." I don't know why we're doing this. We didn't need this, and I don't remember this at all.
Section
so I'm
31.
Not even sure this is going to come back. Burnham is doing a Star Wars while hiding in an asteroid. She has the computers run the search for just the 6 numbers 749148. It went through the whole database, like the computer had available, and found exactly one match. Yes, that's right. It's a Dorman 749148, the manual window regulator for the front passenger side of a selective 1995 to 1998 Mazda Protege.
You Googled that number, didn't you?
Fuck yeah, I did.
I had one of those, and that's really funny.
My point is that you can't just run a database search on 6 numbers and get 1 hit. That's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Although
it depends on the database, but
Google brought me like 4 hits. One of them was this episode, so joke's on me, I guess. And that is the end of the show, where the numbers are actually a coordinate to Talos 4, which is a reference to the original pilot, right? That's Talos 4 that they were on?
That and then the Menagerie episodes. But yeah.
Okay. So on a scale from 1 to 5, where 0 is threshold, I pulled my handy dandy score sheet here. What are we giving this one?
I had it as a 3. It was pretty Star Trek schlocky for me.
All right, Rob.
I gave it a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at a 3, but it's too much. Like, I feel like we're getting into some like daytime television levels of melodrama, and like I'm starting to remember now that I really liked season 1, and then it started to slide from there.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't I don't think a 2 is an unfair grade for this either.
No, not at all. No.
Quite bad enough for me for there.
I also gave it a 3. Thinking it was just kind of standardy shit. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine, but like I don't disagree, Rob. I think you're totally valid in your rating there.
I really don't like Section 31. I hate that they're trying to romanticize it in this series. Ash is just full on annoying to deal with.
Yeah, his character has turned full douche.
Yeah.
He's almost incel-y at this point.
It's gross.
He's annoying. He is annoying, and he's petulant. He's like Archer.
Except actually attractive, which makes it worse somehow.
Oh man, I saw a comment on Reddit on some thread that was referring to Scott Bakula as incredibly handsome in Enterprise, and I was like, man,
like man, we were down bad in 2001 apparently.
Yeah, all the pretty people hadn't been born yet, I guess.
Wow.
Well, they weren't in
Scott Bakula.
They weren't in acting yet.
Look, I'm not saying he was ugly. I'm not incredibly handsome is not what I would refer to Scott Bakula.
I am not attracted to Scott Bakula. I am attracted to plenty of men. He is not one of them.
See, I would say he's an attractive looking dude.
I don't, like I said, I don't think he's ugly. I think too hairy. He's got a decent jawline, I guess. But
his smirk is a little douchey for me.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
I've only got room in my relationships for one shitty smirk, and I've got it. So, all right. So, when we get back, we will have a deep dive. Welcome back. So for today's deep dive, we have something a little bit different. Well, although this is becoming more normal, I am with just Rob for this segment, and we are joined by Tristan, who we are going to be chatting with about Star Trek and other adjacent things. So, hey, welcome to the show, Tristan.
Hello. I'm excited to talk about Star Trek and other adjacent things with you and just Rob.
So I know who you are because I kind of work for you. But for the listeners at home that we have, could you just give yourself kind of a fun rundown?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Trristan Johnson. I am a content creator. My big projects are the YouTube channel Step Back, which is sort of a history, like where history and current events meet. And then I'm also the co-host of a podcast called It's Probably Not Aliens, where we debunk ancient, basically pseudo-history, pseudo-archaeology, and conspiracies of a science fiction bend. And you are one of the show's editors. So, yeah. It's a very fun show, and there's exciting stuff coming up. So, yeah.
It is a fun show. If I can toot our own horns on that, I really do enjoy It's Probably Not Alien. So you should, if you don't already listen to that, you should definitely listen to that. So the first thing I always ask all of our guests is, what do you have a first memory, or like what first got you into Star Trek as like a nerddom?
So this is going to be a little tough for me just because it's like I was probably like, I have a 3-year-old son, and like I was probably his age
Sure.
when
wow.
I first was introduced. Basically, like my first introduction to Star Trek was like watching it with my dad, like watching TNG with my dad in like the early 90s when I was like a little squirt.
Sure.
Like I was born in 1988, so Star Trek's TNG started like a year before I was born, and like was airing for much of my like goofing around years. And my dad would watch it, and I would hang out with him and watch it, or be in the room while he was watching it. I remember liking it more than the X-Files because the X-Files was scary.
Right.
So I basically just grew up with like TNG being in the background of like a good chunk of my like half-formed baby memories. And so it was like always kind of there, but it was like kind of like that's dad's thing that I just kind of happened to be around for. And then I got into it more when I was about maybe like 14 or so, around when Nemesis came out, embarrassingly.
Hey, we all got tastes.
Yeah, and then I kind of just, it's been on and off since then, and I've had a good time.
Do you think that was TNG still like your favorite because it was your first, or do you have like a different favorite nowadays?
I think that TNG's good. I think like a lot of people like that one a lot. I think that I don't think that any other show really holds a candle to Deep Space Nine. I think it's like not only the best Star Trek show, I think it might be like the best television show.
Wow.
And so I stick to like Deep Space Nine took a interesting and entertaining and sometimes even profound science fiction series and turned it into a living, breathing world that was interconnected, that had consistency, and also took the sort of utopian nature of the setting and actually like put it through the ringer and like put it to the test.
Sure.
And there's a lot of really great stuff out of that.
It's funny you mentioned that because Stanford shared your YouTube channel with us a couple of days ago, and I've been perusing your library of videos, and I've noticed that quite a few of them have a Deep Space Nine poster in the background.
Yeah. I my wife got me for my birthday I can't remember what this there's this like old poster from like, I want to say like the 1930s, if not earlier. And it's just like a couple of guys in a bar, like workers in a bar. And it's like, it says like, your boss needs you, you don't need them. Labor's entitled to all it creates. Like a sort of like pro-labor union sort of poster. And somebody made a photo, like a version of it that looks exactly the same, but it's like Miles O'Brien with Rom in Quarks, and like they're in the same pose and everything like that. And my wife got me a framed version of that poster for my birthday, and yeah, it's one of my favorite. It's right next to my picture of the mug shot for Emma Goldman that is also in my office.
Which I'm very bad at actor names. Which one's Emma Goldman?
Emma Goldman's not an actor. She's what's it called? She was a like leftist anarchist agitator, activist in
got
it.
Late
late 19th, early 20th century. That the mugshot is for her for where she was arrested in suspicion of being involved with killing President McKinley.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Because she just knew the guy who killed President McKinley.
Right. So actually that segues me into kind of. So we try to get different perspectives here with the people that we have on our podcast, because we're bringing hard the like white middle-aged cis guy demographic. thankfully you're from Canada. So that kind of brings some new representation in. And based on everything I know as an American, what's it like living in a communist hellscape?
It's just very funny because this week Parliament has just started with this is like the first Parliament since the summer break with the new Prime Minister, and his whole thing is like he's going to do like massive cuts, and there's going to be a whole bunch of money cut from immigration and all sorts of stuff. So it's
of course.
Yeah. My wife also immigrated to Canada from the United States.
Oh, okay.
So I get like a lot, and my educational background, I have a master's in US history and another one in American cultural studies. So I have a lot of good points of comparison. I would say, we have Canada is a country that likes to base a lot of its identity on negative comparison to the United States.
Sure.
So no matter how bad things get for us, we just sort of shrug and say that, well, at least it doesn't cost $10,000 to get cancer.
Right. Although based on
that's how my wife treats reality television.
Based on
the
last week here or so, I'm sure it's kind of an easy comparison to make.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because being in a country that rarely is like the center of attention, we are countries that have been probably the closest allies any two countries have ever been for decades, and all the shit that went this is the one thing I think is if your audience is primarily American, that really did not seem to translate as much. Which was that the tariff stuff Canadians didn't care too much about. It's okay, tariffs, we can live with tariffs.
Sure.
Trump tried to do a bunch of tariffs to us last time too. But it was the 51st state stuff that drove us fucking insane.
That's amazing.
We hated it so much. And
you should have. Yeah.
We basically elected the party is the country was sort of run by the Liberal Party, which is sort of like our center right party, kind of like your Democrats, which was led by Justin Trudeau, who had been prime minister since 2015.
Right.
And that's a long time for one party to hold government. So it was looking very likely that it was going to fall, and he stepped aside and put in this sort of this guy who's basically he comes almost directly from David Cameron's right-wing government in the UK.
Gotcha.
Good.
Guy named Mark Carney, and now he's our prime minister, and he basically got elected almost exclusively on we need to stick it to the United States and change our entire economic policy to be less dependent on the US, and and he's put in every single conservative wish list item under the guise of we need to become independent and build our own infrastructure to be independent. Now, that means we need to build infrastructure and do that, which means we need to fast track liquid natural gas pipelines through indigenous territory. It's
yeah.
Shit. Okay.
You had me until that time. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because having been in America my whole life, it is interesting to know that there is that kind of culture shock of my country has always been in the limelight for my entire life. I have never been in a country that was not one of the most talked about countries in the world. So I never occurred to me that the perspective of someone from a country where that is not the case is probably wildly different.
Yeah. Canada calls itself a middle power. And if you're in any sort of country that's not one of the big superpowers, we still have Canada's got the CBC, which is sort of the Canadian,
right?
It's not government news, but it's state funded, but it's independent. Yeah. But they do, and they also make stuff what was that show that they made that Schitt's Creek? That was it.
Great show.
But
I didn't know that was a Canadian show.
Oh yeah, super Canadian. anytime a big world event happens, they definitely have an order of like to find the Canadian angle on this.
Sure.
Like the most recent example, just out of the blue, was there was a I don't really know the details. There was an accident that happened in Portugal recently, like a sort of it was like a bus accident. I don't know the details, and I don't really want to put my foot in my mouth, but like some kind of accident happened and some people passed away, and they like tried to find like we confirmed that there were two Canadians amongst the group. It's like okay, and they kind of and they'll try to do that like for everything to find out where there is a Canadian involved in there whatsoever. But
that's so.
But I mean,
interesting.
like also it's like there's an also thing where it's just like we were always really close to the U.S. and like culturally there's a lot like most Americans wouldn't think that I have like an accent. I speak the same language.
Sure.
I live like probably like a 2-hour drive from Detroit. Like,
okay,
it's not like you study Canadian history, you'll know also that like while Canadians wouldn't say this, it's just like if you know our history, like the American Revolution was just as foundational for us as it was for the US because we're all the colonies that didn't go with you, right? Like, and also we're made up of all the people who like all those loyalists.
Yeah, loyalist shitheads. Yeah, that's what we call you. Yeah,
yeah, we have like literal like the loyalist trail here in Ontario, and it's like, and like we have a lot of our identity was forged in that moment because before then it was a sparsely populated, mostly French colony. And also stuff like we take some pride in stuff like that, especially the place I live in, or the kind of area I live in, was the end of the Underground Railroad for many years.
Okay.
Which means that like we have like the descendants of Black people who escaped from the United States and came into Canada, and like there's a whole famous like Canada, or I shouldn't say Canada, it was Ontario. But I think I went to the whole colony before then. But like we banned slavery a lot, way before the UK. And John Simcoe, who was like our governor, like intentionally antagonized the US by like anytime like a slave escaped to Canada, and the US would be like, bring him back, and we'd be like, no.
Well, hey, you know what? Good on him then. So, I'm not sure. Have you watched much like new Trek, like Strange New Worlds and stuff?
Yeah, I think that if there's like one place where I occupy a spicy zone in Star Trek fandom, it's that I'm like this for most media, where I tend to enjoy things and then go on the internet to find out why I was wrong.
Sure.
And so
I have a whole podcast about that.
Yeah. And I am like one of the certified non-haters of new Trek.
Sure.
I'm a little bit behind now.
Okay.
Mostly because I have a 3-year-old and a full-time job, and I used to watch Star Trek with my wife, but she's kind of fallen out of love with it. So I have to like find time to watch it. So I'm like, I've watched most of it. I haven't seen the new movie. I've heard it's shit.
Oh my God. It is. I would actually very much enjoy like hearing what you're trying to enjoy that movie was like.
I'm actually doing some research for a fiction project that involves me rewatching a bunch of Star Trek, and that's the last one on the list. So I will get to it at some point. But
crazy.
Right now I'm still in TOS. But Strange New Worlds, I'm like a few episodes behind, and I never finished the back half of the last season of Discovery. I'll get to it eventually. I just I don't know.
Do you and this might be kind of a weird question, and it might be kind of like my American lensing, but is there any kind of like national pride around the fact that like this stuff is filmed in Toronto for the most part these days?
I mean, there's some the one thing about Canada that I think is also really good to bring across to people is like a big thing about our sort of identity that's really different from, it's not like the US has a bit of this, but we have a lot more of it, which is that Canadian identity is actually very weak.
Really? Okay.
And it is much more we are much more like because Canada started as a confederacy. Like we are, and like I guess we're still a confederacy, but what that means is that like for all intents and purposes, like our federal government is actually really small and doesn't really play a large role in our day lives. So our provinces and our regions are much more of like part of our identity. And as someone who lived in Toronto, I loved it. The episode of Strange New Worlds that was set in Toronto made me very, very happy.
Oh yeah,
and I also, every time that like there's some shows that are better or worse at it, but like I love like being like seeing Toronto and stuff like that and all sorts of things. And like I even remember the one that sticks out the most to me is The Boys, because The Boys is filmed in Toronto, and like some places they do a lot of work to like scrub so that it looks like a generic American city. When like The Boys, it's like I know that intersection, like I've been in that intersection, and so I love it a lot. But also Toronto is kind of not necessarily a beloved city by the rest of the country, because it is it's the biggest city in the country. It's like it's about the size of Chicago, a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay.
And so you can imagine like the same way that like kind of a lot of Americans think about like New York and LA, right? Like they're not, they're powerful, but they're not necessarily beloved.
Right. It's interesting because I have like, in terms of like identifying intersections, I have kind of the opposite experience because I lived outside of DC for a long time, and like lots of things take place in DC but are filmed nowhere near it. So you see like all of these buildings and intersections and stuff, and it's like none of that's in DC. That is nowhere near where I live.
Yeah, DC is odd though, because like the times I've been there, it's like there is a section of the city that everybody can recognize because it has all the recognizing things.
Yeah, it's got the Capitol and the monuments and the museums, and that's
you take one step away from that and you're just in a city.
It's just in normal buildings. Yeah, but weirdly short.
Yeah, and like the part of the city that has all the things that people remember shuts down at like 5 o'clock and nobody's there. Like nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody goes there. Nobody does anything. There's nowhere to eat. There's nothing to do. And so if you're like, but you step outside of it and like, yeah, DC's just a city, a normal ass city like everybody else. As soon as you like get like one block away from, I guess, whatever was quartered off to be all the big marble slab things.
Right. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I remember once because the last time I went there, we kind of got a little lost, because what happened was we went to the Pentagon, and we were like, because I did like 9/11 studies, so I went to go see the Pentagon 9/11 memorial.
Yeah, I saw that from my bedroom when it happened.
Oof. Okay. Well, then you know then you saw the hologram missile or whatever.
I was at school like the very moment it happened. But one of our security guards was smoking on the roof of our building, and apparently he saw the hologram missile. Yeah.
Wait, what's hologram missile?
9/11 truthers think that that because it didn't make like a sort of like WB like Looney Tunes style like airplane shaped hole in the side of it, that it was a missile instead of an airplane.
Because these people don't realize quite how weak wings are.
Yeah. They don't realize how if you design something to be extremely light, that means that when bad things happen to it, it falls apart instantly.
Yep.
That's like people freaking out about how the towers fell, but they fell the way that they were designed to fall to mitigate damage to the surrounding area.
Yeah, exactly. But after we saw the 9/11 memorial, because it was kind of for research, because I studied like my like graduate work had to do with the 9/11 memorials around the country. Anyways, we were like, hey, Arlington Cemetery is right there, and we want to do that afterwards. And like my Canadian brain was like, we could probably just walk there.
Oh,
and then we
no.
So we tried to walk to it, and we found that Arlington Cemetery has like 60 entrances, and all of them
except for one are closed. Yeah.
So then we found ourselves like walking on the shoulder of this like highway.
Yeah, that'd be the GW Parkway.
Yeah. And this is Virginia in, I want to say it was like July or August, so super like 35 degrees or something like that, and like fucking swamp. And then
hey Rob, what's that in freedom units?
Sorry, he doesn't like the metric system.
It's not that I don't like it, it's that I don't know it.
You're looking at like 90 to 100 degree heat.
Thank you.
Plus it's Virginia, so a lot of humidity.
Plus water. Oh, I mean, he's literally next to the Potomac on that highway.
Yeah, and I mean, DC's literally a swamp. This is like
no. We drained the swamp so that we could put a city in it.
Yeah. So the best memory I have though is that my entrance to Arlington Cemetery was that eventually we found the entrance. And do you know those like hedges by the side of like the big like the famous pathway that like JFK's like funeral marcade went through, right?
Yeah, the big.
So
the
we
big
just sort of like
maze.
Yeah, so we just kind of emerged from the bushes.
Like that Homer Simpson meme.
Yeah, basically. And then we had walked, so we had done like that. Then we walked and we did all of Arlington, which is another big thing of walking. And then it's starting to get late. And we were like, all right, let's go walk across the bridge. We went to go see, I think there was like the FDR Memorial or something is over there.
Yeah,
and
if you're
we
going,
like, oh shit, you're going
across
this
Memorial,
side of the mall.
so like the Jefferson and stuff is right there. Yeah,
Jefferson, that was it. And so they were like, well, we're also on this side of the mall, and the mall's big, so let's go see the Lincoln thing because you got to see the Lincoln thing. And then we were like, oh man, we have walked so much today, and we both smell like complete garbage because we've been sweating in like the heat for like hours. Let's go get something to eat. But it was like it was probably like 6 or 7 o'clock at this point, and nothing is open within like 10 kilometers of this area. So it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, geez, you must have,
that was
like that's a walk. Like y'all were really doing it.
Yeah, I think I got like 30 or 40,000 steps that day. It was pretty cool. There's a picture, actually, I should share it with you. Because when we did that, I was like sunburnt. My face is just like red. I am completely drained. And we went to, because the other thing I forgot that's on that side is the Vietnam Memorial. Yeah, so we took a photo of me, like, I decided I was being a cheeky bitch. I was like taking a picture of myself doing, that like famous, I think it's like a painting of like somebody standing by the Vietnam Memorial, like looking down with their hand on the thing.
Right.
I did my pose of that, but I look like absolute shit because I had been walking like all day. And yeah. That was a long aside, but yeah.
The Vietnam
I love DC.
Memorial. I'm sorry, I misheard you. Yes, the one with the wall and the names. That is over by the Jefferson. Yeah. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
Because it was designed by Maya Lin, who was one of the judges on This Is Why I Was There for research. She was one of the judges for the 9/11, like the Ground Zero Memorial in New York. And so she was sort of brought in to inform that, and you can see some of the inspiration because like the list of names and stuff like that is at the 9/11 Memorial. And like
I guess when you're the preeminent names on a wall person in the country,
she's just that she made one of the most famous memorials in America
in history.
So, yeah. So it makes sense. That was a lot of things. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
That's why you're here. So like politically, it's been pretty spicy here. How do I want to phrase this? I'm trying to bring us back into Star Trek here. So, like, Star Trek is generally fairly aspirational. How much of that informs your enjoyment of the show? I think you kind of mentioned it earlier, in terms of like the post-scarcity utopia stuff.
Yeah, I think I think that I enjoy that quite a bit. There is a severe, I'm trying to think how to phrase this correctly, but like I think that speculative fiction, one of its like best things is that you can use it to imagine other worlds and other contexts, and you can use that to explore all different aspects of the human condition. And I do think that one of the things that Star Trek has always done that I really love is that it is, and it doesn't seem like a lot of other science fiction has followed in its wake, which is just that it dares to speculate or to imagine that, like, hey, the world's facing some pretty bad problems, but we're smart and we're capable and we can overcome them if we try really hard. And like, I do really like that aspect of it. And even when they fall short of it, which they do a lot, I think that there's something in just like it's the one thing I think that makes Star Trek unique to like every other like form of science fiction. Like, I can't really think of any science fiction that's not also like the Orville does that, but the Orville is trying to do Star Trek.
Right.
That is like a future where we have like really, we have like the things that feel over, like especially in moments like now, where we feel like the problems of this world are overwhelming and destructive, that we still can, like, this isn't the end, and like there is a way out. There is a good world that we can make, and that still exists as a possibility.
Sure.
And if we were just more like, I think that those kinds of examples and things to think about are important.
So, well, I was going to ask, have you watched Enterprise, Tristan?
Yeah. Enterprise is one of the places where it falls short. Enterprise season 3 is probably like the nadir of the entire franchise, as far as I'm concerned.
So, like, how do you think that Trek went from a place of like Deep Space Nine, where it was arguably at its most progressive, philosophical, like, how do you think it went from that to Enterprise?
Oh, that's a really easy thing to answer. It's called Rick Berman.
The
reason why Deep Space Nine is as good as it was is because Rick Berman didn't care about it, and he just gave like full creative control over to Ira Behr. And you can actually see like Star Trek get less optimistic and more weird and right wing and shitty as Gene Roddenberry dies and Rick Berman keeps taking over more and more creative control of the franchise, to the point where like by the end of Voyager, things are starting to get real sketch. And then Enterprise was like the show where Berman like had complete control. And he did stuff like not only season 3, which is like their sort of 9/11 season, but like there's an episode of Enterprise that I think might be including that episode of TNG, I think is the most racist Star Trek episode that has ever been made.
Oh, which one?
And I gotta find the name of it. I keep forgetting.
It is called The Chosen Realm.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah. Basically, the plot of it is that Enterprise gets hijacked by space Muslims who are irrational religious fanatics who hate another group of irrational religious fanatics because they are slightly different in their belief system. And it turns out that their world's completely destroyed because they were all religious fanatics towards each other. And it was written by a guy who then went on to become like one of the head writers of 24, which says basically as much as you need to.
Great.
So yeah, it was a rough show. Enterprise still has moments from time to time, but yeah, it had some not good moments.
You know, the fun thing about this podcast is that we actually rate all of the episodes individually. So hold on, let me find out how we gave that episode.
While he's looking that up, I was wondering if you were going to bring up our collective, like meaning the three of us, our least favorite episode of Star Trek that we have watched together so far, Cogenitor. That's the one where there's a third sex in a species. And Trip gets like reamed out by Archer at the end of the episode for like daring to try and, tell the third sex representative on the show that, she didn't need to be a slave to the other two sexes on their world. And she winds up killing herself once she realizes that, she missed out on an opportunity.
It was awful. With that really awkward Riker episode where they do the kind of non-binary thing and it's really awkward.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I will give TNG credit there because of like it was 1989 or whatever, and they're they're in a lot of ways they're doing their best in terms of like non-binary people.
Yeah. I've been watching some, like I said, I've been doing a study of like the Star Treks because I'm making my own sort of fiction project that has a lot to do with Star Trek. And I've been looking at some like relevant episodes of TOS, and there are some real stinkers in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like I just realized like the other like I had a batch where I watched 2 in a row where one's called Metamorphosis and one's called the Immunity Syndrome, and both of them were real stinkers. Metamorphosis is the one that has Zephram Cochrane in it, where he's from Alpha Centauri, and he's refuses to fall in love with a gas monster until she turns into a hot woman.
I mean, same, I guess. I don't know.
And then the other one was like,
is the Immunity Syndrome the one where they had to give everyone on the planet STD so they could build up an immunity system?
The Immunity Syndrome. Let me just pull up my notes from that episode. It was. I then came across a really good one recently, but it was the episode where they discover. Oh yeah, it was. They just discover a big. The entire episode is big amoeba, big space amoeba.
Oh sure,
and that's it. That is literally the entire episode. There's nothing else interesting.
I don't know. There's something kind of charming about like when TV could just be giant space amoeba go for an hour. You know.
Yeah. But then I followed up with A Private Little War, which was like one of the best episodes of
yes,
TOS.
That is often considered one of the top like 5 of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's great, and some other really, I don't know. I'm having a really good time. And also now that I've watched Strange New Worlds, like the unfortunate thing about the Immunity Syndrome is that it's the one that has or Metamorphosis. No. Immunity Syndrome is the one that has Dr. Mpenga, where it's just a bunch of like kind of like slapstick things about how he's like a Vulcan doctor. No, this is Private Little War. This is like Private Little War. Like Spock gets shot with a gun, which I think was very funny to me. Because he gets shot right in the heart, and they're like, good thing his heart is where his liver should be, or else he'd be dead or whatever. But he's got to recover. And it's just like a bunch of like slapstick things from Mpenga, who's like the Vulcan expert, where it's like, yes, he needs to be slapped in the face really hard right now to make him feel it. It's like, oh man,
what a time to be alive in the 60s.
Yeah. Every time that like, that snazzy like theme song starts playing, I was like, this is the most 1960s shit I've ever heard in my life.
We watched we do our show in canon chronological order, so we started with Enterprise, unfortunately, and we're in Discovery now. But kind of in kind of a quirk between the two is the original pilot that didn't even get aired back in the 60s. They didn't actually like show it until the 80s, where it's got like Pike and Number One, and Spock is the only like character that was there from the original show. But like. As an example of just how 1960s this show was, like scene 2 of this show is the captain having like 2 martinis while on duty.
Yep.
Truly was an enlightened age.
Yeah.
Given to him by his doctor.
Brought to him by his doctor who had a portable bar. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like scrolling through my notes from TOS so far, and there's many, many episodes where I'm like, good idea, held back by being weirdly misogynistic.
Good idea, held back by it being the 60s.
Yeah, even Private Little War, like, spoiler alert for like a almost 60-year-old episode of TV, but like they just had a whole plot line because they're trying to really ham-fist this like Eden and Fall from the Garden type storyline, and it's just like one of the B plot is basically women. Am I right? Like,
yep.
Because like the woman does woman things and causes the downfall of their species or whatever.
So, outside of Star Trek, like what other kinds of science fiction do you consume? Because it sounds like you do like that kind of more utopian, aspirational, at least speculative stuff. But is there anything else that like, oh man, if I'm not watching Star Trek, I want to watch this or I want to read this?
Oh, yeah, I got tons. Sci-fi is like my favorite genre of everything. And like while I think Star Trek, like I think that like I like Star Trek because of its utopianness, but that's just like to me it's just like that is like what makes it unique and interesting.
Right.
But like I like a lot of stuff that falls into all sorts of. I'm right now reading through the Expanse novels. I'm getting close to the end of that.
Oh, very cool.
And I really like that series. And the show was pretty good too. I really like Ursula K. Le Guin's books.
Okay. Left Hand of Darkness and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, The Dispossessed especially. And I really like, I'm just like kind of thinking through really fast in my head of like a bunch of things. Like I just read Dark Matter. That was kind of neat. Like I like a lot of different, another show that kind of, I just realized does the sort of Star Trek thing that I was talking about of being like kind of utopian and stuff like that. And that is For All Mankind, the Apple show.
Oh yeah. Chris watched that and he really liked it. Rob, did you ever watch it?
No, I don't have Apple TV, but
I don't either. Haha, tap nose.
one of the actresses I had brought up on one of our deep dives was a guest star in Star Trek.
Sure.
It was the person who plays the director.
For All Mankind is great. It is like probably one of the better sci-fi shows airing right now, and it is also like a sort of hopeful, optimistic sci-fi show, and it's about to get a spin-off that I'm very curious about. So, the premise of the show, do you know it or anything?
Yeah. Chris actually went into a whole deep dive about it. Like it's on my list of things to watch. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Okay. Well, they have a show that I'm really excited for. They're doing a spin-off called Star City, which is going to be focused on the Soviet space program. I was like, if there was one complaint I had about For All Mankind is that they do what a lot of Americans do. They reduce the Soviet because we're in a moment right now where we're trying to reinforce that Russia is bad.
Right.
So they didn't want to make the Soviets appear too sympathetic because Russians being bad, Soviets being the bad is sort of the default.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that in For All Mankind or Star City or whatever, they can show the Soviets as having some dimension rather than being kind of just villains. That would be nice. But
I told Stanford before the podcast that I wanted to ask you this.
Sure.
Given your background, are you a fan of The Good Place?
Yeah. The Good Place is good. It's a good it's very much a meditation on morality and moral philosophy. Yeah. And overall it hit more than it missed. And I had a lot of fun watching it. I
feel like there's a huge butt coming.
Right.
No, I mean, like the butt is that it's now been a few years, and I think I watched it during COVID, and like I don't think I could tell you a single thing that happens in the show. I just remember it being good. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
And there's actually a new-ish show that has a lot of the same writing team and stars. What's his face? The guy he's like the quote unquote angel, actually demon sort of mentor character. I can't remember what the actor's name is again, but
it's Holt's partner in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Stanford.
Oh, Mark Evan Jackson?
That's it.
He's like one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, there's a new show that stars him where he plays he's a retired professor whose wife is dead, and he kind of hasn't been able to like figure out what to do in retirement with his wife being gone. And his daughter's kind of worried about him. So he decides he's going to go get a job, and he gets a job working for a private investigator. And so he has to go undercover as a mole in a retirement home, but he like becomes friends with like the people in the retirement home, and it stars or one of the main actors is the guy who plays Thufir Hawat in the new Dune movies.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he
I know who you're talking about. The heavier set black guy, right?
Yeah, he's one of the main. That's another thing on sci-fi. I also really love the Dune series. The
new movies are really hot. I read the first book and then I was good. But I really like the new movies.
I read all of them, including the weird horny ones.
Yeah, I stopped at like casually racist. I didn't get to the weird horny ones.
We need to support Denis Villeneuve's projects because I need them to figure out how they're going to do their serious take on the weird and horny books like Chapter House and Heretics, and just where they find out that Golas get all their memories brought back through sex. And
See,
I'm trying to think of, yeah.
I heard that Villeneuve is only going to do through Children of Dune, which makes me sad.
Yeah, we need to even to get Leto the second big worm boy.
Yeah, I was just saying,
right.
isn't even that like where he turns into the worm or whatever?
Unfortunately, it's going to, if they're going to do through children, it's going to end with Leto being like, "Oh shit, I'm covered in worm. I wonder what'll happen with this." And then the next book is like 1,000 years later, and he has become worm. That's sort of the way that the gap between the third and the fourth book.
I see. Well, it'll be an after credits teaser then.
Assembling something. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah. Nick Fury comes out up against the worm, the Shai Hulud. Yeah, and then we cut to Leto the Second will return.
Yeah, I love science fiction because it can like how Dune, was about exploring humanity in like the sort of large scale, kind of like Foundation. Another Apple show that is really good, but nobody's watching because it's on Apple.
Well, yeah, I have Apple, and I've watched. Let's see, we watched Silo, we watched Severance. I feel like there was another show on there that we checked out. We started watching Murderbot, but I didn't. I read the book and I did not care for the show that much, so I stopped watching that one. But like, as spicy as you think your take is on New Trek, I think Isaac Asimov is a complete hack. So I'm not the biggest fan of Foundation.
Probably the books don't sound very good from how I describe it, but the show is decent. Like, it seems like that's one of the ones where the adaptation is better than the original.
It would have to be, because the original book was complete crap, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, there's also the whole thing where, and you were saying how you like favorite actors, like Jared Harris is one of my favorite actors. So, and he's really good in it.
Oh yeah,
he's also in The Expanse. He's really good in that too.
I'll watch some real shit if it's got an actor I like in it. Absolutely.
Yeah, if something's got, listen to me, Hollywood. If you want Tristan to watch something, if you put Jared Harris or Jeffrey Wright in something, I will watch it. I don't care what it is. Those two people are fucking geniuses, and I love their work. So
definitely not Googling who Jared Harris is right now. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Wasn't
he was
Chernobyl. He the dude in charge of Yeah.
Chernobyl. He was Anderson Dawes in The Expanse. He was.
I was going to say he was Dawes. Yeah.
Chernobyl's a good show too.
He was General Grant in Lincoln, like the Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
He's been got a lot of range stuff. Yeah.
And Jeffrey Wright is just always known for being what's his name? He was in Westworld. Plays I
did not care for Westworld, but mostly because I don't like westerns. But yes, Jeffrey Wright I recognize as well.
I really like the first season, and then
that is the correct way to think about that.
What?
Jared Harris? Gosh,
I think he was in. Wasn't he in some of the
Bernard?
Is his character he was in the Hunger Games.
He was in the second Hunger Games too. Yeah, and he's also the Watcher in the Marvel show What If.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that. I've watched it, but I'm not good at recognizing voices.
He's good. I like him a lot.
That's right. He's Gordon in the newer Batman.
Oh yeah. See.
Yeah, he's good. He's got a pretty good range.
So that's so yeah, Hollywood, put those people in things, and I will watch them.
We're kind of bumping up against our time here, but I wanted to ask you, like, Transporter. Would you do a Transporter? Like, you gonna go through that, the Murder Clone Machine, or?
No. I mean, I imagine like people seem to have like the good, really good piece of world building about Star Trek is like the fact that that's a legit phobia, and then you think of it like a person from today, and you're like, oh my god, it's a death clone machine.
Yeah,
but then like to them it's nothing because it's just normal.
Because they're like, used to dying every time they go through a fucking transporter.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like I think that's cool. Like the whole like there's that and like how like little details like how they basically don't like any form of passive culture. Like they don't like in the future they don't really watch movies or TV shows. They don't like because they don't.
No. Yeah, all of them.
There's no active. They just read and LARP on the holodeck, and I'm like because they think of media as something that you engage with in some capacity, and I was like that's a cool concept. Like
yeah, I'm down for that one. It's the death boxes I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah. I like though that that's an actual phobia there, and that shows a distinct different culture than the one that we're in now. Like that's an interesting piece of world building to me. But yeah, the transporter paradox is also why like I'm like, you know, people have talked about how like in the future we're going to be able to like upload your brain or something like that, and it's like, nah, man, that's transporter paradox.
Yeah, see, and the funny thing is like
do it bit by bit, and you brain of Theseus me, it's going to be like.
Star Trek has already established that there is no paradox. It definitely kills you because, like, that's how Tom Riker showed up.
Yep.
Like, case closed. The box is killing you.
Listen, I would happily kill myself over and over and over again like that if I didn't have to sit through traffic.
asterisk, I would say that might not be the case because there's a TNG episode where while in the transporter beam, they see an alien.
The alien, kind? Yeah, Barclay does, yeah.
And that starts to show doubt that there is some form of continuity for
where did Tom come from
into energy and back. Then where did Tom come from? Yeah, that's an interesting question. There's nuance here, right? Because there's an episode of Deep Space Nine where a bunch of people get caught in the buffer, and so they have to like reroute them to the holodeck. And I don't know. I think there's the episode with where Barclay sees the transporter alien does throw some doubt into like the transporter paradox thing.
Oh man, I haven't seen that episode in a while. I remember it reminding me of like Larry Niven, because like in hyperspace there's monsters is like Larry Niven's kind of thing. So I'll have to go on a transporter deep dive on that episode again and try to remember how that worked. Because
it'd be a lot more reassuring if like while you're transporting you, like it's not like you die or go the other thing too though, and this is the other hard part, is that I think there was like a CGP Grey video like 1,000 years ago that was about this, but like if you think that the transporter means that you die, then technically you also die when you go under anesthesia, because anesthesia stops your cognitive process. It shuts down your brain while you're undergoing it.
No, that's not. No, that's a false equivalency. I'm not going to stand for it.
Okay, but like if the continuity of consciousness is existence,
like the continuity of meat is the existence.
Maybe, but then like I feel like it's too late and I don't have enough cannabis in my system for this
for the ship of Theseus. Like into 7 years is how long all your cells take to regenerate or whatever it is.
Yeah, all it is to show is that the bigger thing is that our concept of identity and continuity is actually a mirage, and that we are constantly dying and being reborn all the time. Have fun sleeping, everybody.
Yeah, but as long as it's involuntary, I'm okay with it. Like, what am I going to do about that? So I'll just take a shot.
In Star Trek, they probably think of it the same way. Like when you go to sleep, your consciousness resets. Just like when you go in the transporter, your consciousness resets.
All I'm saying is that in the future, no Star Trek show has mentioned this, that like there have got to be people who wear some kind of medical bracelet that is a do not transport bracelet, and it has some kind of like elemental marker in it, so that if a transporter scans it, like all of the computers are like, nope, can't transport this person. That has to exist, and I've never seen any Star Trek show be brave enough to talk about it.
That'd be a real like where somebody is like trapped and they like it'd be easy to get them out with a transporter. I also thought like one of the things in Star Trek that has never been hasn't been explored a whole lot, mostly because it has horrifying implications, is that is transport like involuntary transportation and transportation as a like they have like transported people involuntarily in the show before.
Oh yeah,
but
all the
there's
time.
like
Yeah.
something really horrifying about like what if the brig worked so that the second that you leave the cordoned off place you just get teleported back to where it was, or just like teleporting a bunch of people off the ship like into space as a way to like just I don't know, there's stuff.
Yeah, we've
there's
definitely
stuff you could
covered
do with
like
that technology that's messed up.
transporter as weapon, and it does not come up very often in the show, but it does every once in a while.
Yeah,
Of course,
they'll
my
use it
other
to,
issue,
like, transport a bomb onto a ship every once in a while
right?
too.
And like it comes back to that issue where like it's too convenient of a solution, so like we can't have that as a tool because then there's no stories to write at that point.
Yeah, why didn't Frodo just teleport to Mordor?
Exactly. Well, and like, because like, for example, in the current season of Strange New Worlds, Captain What's-Her-Face is like up against the clock because of the Gorn like DNA thing, right? Well, why don't they just put her in the
She has
transport?
Gorn cancer.
Why don't they just put her in the transport buffer till they figure it out? Like Mbenga was doing
Mbenga
that
did
with
last
his
season,
own
yeah.
daughter for years in this show. Like, but
Listen,
we can't use that solution.
No, that buffer's already reserved.
No, she's gone. She already had vacated it. There's a fresh medical buffer waiting for a new patient.
I think they kind of implied that it was dangerous, but yeah. But also, so is having reptile cancer,
so is having gourd cancer. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I will say, Tristan, this has been extremely fun for me. Because I've been following you since I found your Ancient Apocalypse video. So it's been a couple years now. And like I said, now I kind of work for you, so I guess that's a little weird. But like, it is cool to talk to people that I see making content that I like, because it's not something I'm used to yet. So that's a fun experience. And I really appreciate you coming on the show for that.
Well, thank you, Stanford and Just Rob, for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Do you want to like replug all your stuff so people can find you?
Yeah, depending upon when this drops,
Monday.
we should be Monday. Okay. Not Monday then, but soonish. There's going to be a new batch of episodes dropping at probsnotaliens.com. Or just looking up It's Probably Not Aliens on whatever your podcast app of choice is. And then I have a YouTube channel called Step Back. I haven't made a video in nearly a year just because I had to stop making content to get a full-time job, and I'm trying to put some stuff together, and there's like I have a project that keeps getting bigger and crazier the more I work with it. And so
Absolutely.
I'm trying to throw a small video in the tube to kind of go between them. So I'm hoping to have something out in November so that I don't go actually a full year between making videos. But my current video project has kind of been pushed back to January for some very, very good reasons, but reasons that involve me not having to make a video until January. So and you can find that at stepbackhistory.com.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, again, thanks for being here, and hopefully, maybe we'll bring you back on when we start doing TOS, and you can give us your hot takes.
Nice. Oh, I also have an IDIC tattoo. I forgot to mention that.
Wow, that's a level of like 2 levels deep of nerdy tattoo right there.
Yeah, it's black and red too.
Is it the symbol or just the letters IDIC?
It's the symbol. It's the circle with the triangle and the circle in the center. Yeah.
I did a whole deep dive on that symbol.
Yeah, I got it on my shoulder.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Internet, for listening to me again for another thing. And enjoy is it the end of the show, or is there more show?
No, we have one more segment. It's probably going to be trivia or something. I don't know who's on it. I think Chris is on it tomorrow, so we'll see what he does.
Have fun doing trivia.
Alrighty. Then, yeah, we will be back after a very short break.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, so for today's potpourri, we're going to do a little bit of what were they thinking. This is actually reference to a kind of a thread on Reddit I saw the other day, and so I want to touch on a few things that were suggested there, and then maybe kind of get your input and kind of get what your thoughts on a good what were they thinking. And what I'm saying that I mean kind of either scenes or plot lines or even just like images from it. From various Star Trek shows that kind of make you ask, what were they thinking with this one? Like, what were they doing?
So is our goal to give you like some bullshit on what they might have been thinking?
No, I'm just going to be like, these are examples of kind of what were they thinking moments throughout Star Trek, and then if you have one that comes to your mind after we go through these, feel free to add.
Oh, okay.
But so this thread was headed by an image of Captain Kirk holding some type of like rock that was pretty much shaped like a penis. And so
they were thinking about a penis.
Yeah, well, sure. So just to kind of get you in the right frame of mind here. But the first one that somebody commented, which was from user Tumultuous Virgo, was lizard babies. Which is, of course, in reference to the namesake of our rating system.
Fuck yeah.
Threshold. And in a comment to it, user Cambrian Implosions said, "To this day, one of the least believable parts of Voyager to me is that Paris and Janeway were able to continue working together after that like nothing ever happened."
There is an implication that they actually don't remember being lizards.
Sure.
But yeah, the Christmas cards are probably pretty awkward.
What happened to the babies?
They went into the swamp and are never seen again.
Yeah, sure.
And they're still considered her children.
Yeah, she had 3 lizard babies with Paris. It's in her bio.
Oh, man.
This is why I'm mad about that quiz.
Yeah, you should be, Rob. You really should be.
Rob, you got a -4. That was one question.
Would have made all the difference.
It did. It really did. So the next one they had was the user NCC1701E. Fucking nerd.
Dork.
Posted a picture of Alpha 177, which was the picture from the original series of the dog in like a little costume.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just heard another podcast talking about that particular moment, and they're like, why didn't they just put a horn on the dog and call it a day? Why the whole costume?
Right, like a whole ass costume. But that was from season 1, episode 5, The Enemy Within. A couple comments on here. User Kratos said, "Yeah, and this is really going to blow your mind. All the other aliens on Star Trek are just humans in costumes." All right.
All right, man. Let us have some fucking fun, Kratos. God damn it.
Next user, Merp, said, "I just started watching TOS for the first time, and this cracked me up. It's like an alien lobster dog. It's so cute." I mean, it was a cute dog. I'll give it that. Lastly, I had Dark Vulture 83 noted, "And a Klingon Targ is a pig with spikes stuck on it, but it's still awesome." Which,
fair enough.
Sure, fair.
But again, it wasn't just a dog. It was a dog in a fucking costume.
Right. The next one I had was the Chakotay and 7 of 9 romance plot.
Oh my god, what a fucking mistake. What the fuck were they thinking with that shit?
This was from Thursday Tea Time, was the user who presented that one. But a couple comments here. ComLab66 said, "Yeah, it was definitely forced after the writers shut the door on any relationship between Chakotay and the captain. It seems like they felt they had to rush him into a relationship. Notice 7 doesn't mention him in Picard at all."
Yeah, so like the Chakotay 7 thing, and people are misremembering some of it because a lot of it was actually not in quote unquote real life. It was like her holodeck practice.
Sure.
But like, I think they went on 1 date and that was it. But there is this level of like, so Chakotay and Janeway have a short-lived romance, and it's actually fairly well done. It is very much a like 2 adults in their middle ages, not sure when they're going to get home. Like,
right.
kind of, and then at one point they end up stuck on a planet together, and they think that they're
Right.
going to be there forever, and so they just kind of bond in a situation where they're working together every day. And then like after the planet, there's this like very good moment where there's this like heart to heart between the two of them, where Janeway's like, look, we can't work like this. We can't live like this. Like, this isn't going to work out. And Chakotay's like, yeah, I think you're right. So then he hoves in on the young bitch and just goes full hog on her. Like, what the fuck, Chakotay?
Yeah. So a couple of comments here. Cherith Cute Story said, I hate it. They had no chemistry. I'm convinced both of them sought each other because they couldn't have the person they wanted. Captain Janeway.
Okay, fair enough.
They both wanted Captain Janeway? Yeah.
Yeah. User Bergkun, which was BRGQUN, which I'm assuming is Borg Queen, said, I never got it, but it seems like all 90s treks end with a questionable last-minute romance. He noted Worf and Troy, Seven and Chakotay, Ezri and Bashir. So.
Oh my god, I forgot about Worf and Troy.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Ezri and Bashir I actually found to be kind of a funny, like, an appropriate thing, because it was clear that, like, Jadzia wasn't going to go for him. But, like, he was like, well, I mean, this is pretty fucking close. Like, this is
right.
pretty much the same, but not quite. Like, I think I can put the moves on Ezri.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Last one, Too Old for Your Crap said, I hated the relationship, but and I can't tell if this was an autocorrect, but it made me giggle. It said, I hated the relationship, but Chipotle was also super attractive at least. So I just dealt with it. I'd have dated Chipotle in a heartbeat.
Oh, man.
No.
So now I'm going to think of Chipotle every time I hear his name.
Chipotle. I'd be like, that's a little insensitive, but it's a made up fucking, like, terrible Native American, like, appropriated name anyway. So, like, fuck it.
Uh-huh.
He is not, and, like, that is an example of a man that I like. Like, he is attractive. He's, like, obviously, when I was watching Voyager, he was entirely too old, right? But, like, looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he was a good-looking guy. More so than Archer. Like, fuck Archer.
Sure. All right, next thing that was noted was the episode Miri from the original series. This was put in by Just a Tiny Dude. So Lovebook explains, it's a planet where, due to a plague, only children are left alive. And while it was a bad enough when Kirk started macking on the girl like she was a three-breasted green chick, it got even ickier when you learned that despite the actress's age, making her appear older, no doubt to help the ick factor a little, her character has not yet entered puberty.
Oh, God.
Yep. User Spoon added, I'm far more put off by the creepy chef with his 3-year-old girlfriend on Voyager. Also, the guys on Voyager creeping on the 3-year-old.
That is so. There is a genuinely interesting discussion to be had about Neelix and Kess's relationship. Because, like, they're not wrong. Kess is 3 years old. But also, her species has a different kind of life cycle. So that's one of those, like, well, fuck, what do we do about that, you know?
Right.
Does this person also look like a 3-year-old?
You know.
No. She's a grown-ass.
You know what you should probably just do? Not.
Right.
So the thing with that is, I do agree on there, but also, like, there's definitely a very much like older guy, very young girl vibe to their relationship as well.
Oh yeah, because Neelix is like your creepy uncle.
I part of that is most likely because how old was what's his face when he was in that role?
I mean, he 40s, I think, right?
I don't even remember that. What was that guy's name? Is it also Ethan something?
That might be right. Can't remember.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Played by Ethan Phillips. Fucking hell. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, he was almost 50.
Yep.
No, he was 40. I'm sorry, 1995. Yeah, so he was 40 when that role. So yeah, that is uncomfortable. And like, I don't know how old Neelix is in his theoretical lifespan. In terms of this, I'm not sure it's ever like said.
Right.
But there is a level of like, Cass is only going to live for like 7 years. So proportionally, she's like in her 30s, right? At 3 years old.
You know, if we go by dog years, sure.
Well, if you go by, like, that's the theoretical thing. Now, there are lots of science fiction authors that talk about this kind of stuff, and it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's probably gross. Like, anytime, even fantasy kind of deals with it sometimes, because, like, elves and shit. Like,
yeah, anime gets into this too, and it's always gross.
Yeah, an elf falling in love with a human might actually be kind of gross, like, no matter how old that human is, because, like, the elf is hundreds of years older than them, you know?
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't know. But, like, it is, they're not wrong to be like, Neelix was dating a 3-year-old. It's like, yeah, he kind of was, wasn't he?
Yep. Getting back to Miri, user EchoStation 3T8 says, I think you misread the Kirk-Miri dynamic. It was pretty clear she had the crush, and he was using that to learn more about the something. I don't know what this word is. I think copy and pasted weird, and get the communicators back to the groups to do their things.
I'm not sure that's better.
No,
yeah, the old
it's
the
not
ends justify the means.
It's not
argument.
Rebutted following that. Where, no, it was more than that. Many a young person has had a crush on someone older. It is the adult's responsibility not to encourage it. I also thought maybe he was just trying to pump her for info, but that doesn't make sense. He didn't need to because, like you said, she had a crush on him. She was already willing to tell him anything.
He was definitely trying to pump her with something else.
Say it. And obviously Yeoman Rand didn't think he was just smooth-talking info out of her. Not only did she attempt to broach the subject with Spock, who immediately shut her down, but she even directly screamed at Kirk how desperate she'd always been to get his attention, and asking him why he wanted that little girl instead.
What? Yeah. I like how the 60s had the woman not be like, hey, why don't you not try to fuck a child? And more like, why do you want to fuck a child instead of me?
Yeah. And finally, the last one that I had here was, of course, Sub Rosa. Which, Crusher Ghost Sex. This is put by General Krieg's waifu. Sure. So a couple comments here. Bolshevik Rattlehead said, I kind of think it was a passion project for the showrunner at the time, the gothic romance horror set piece in space. She also spearheaded the early years of Voyager's side plot of Janeway and the holodeck Victorian mysteries, which I thought was an interesting note.
Oh, man. Janeway's holodeck time was always kind of fun.
Said the guy who hates holodeck episodes.
I was going to say, no. I don't. Holodeck.
No. Those are not entire holodeck episodes. Although one of them gets that kind of way. But no, just like what she does on the holodeck, usually they're not actually like.
Yeah, as I recall, they're usually like they started episodes a few times with her in the holodeck.
Yeah. Because she does like a Jane Eyre like
right. Yeah.
thing, and she's
moving that goalpost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. The goalpost is firm. I don't like holodeck episodes unless they're in Voyager.
Oh, fair. All right. Anubis Pop said Code of Honor is worse, which, I mean, fair. Like, Code of Honor is real bad.
Which one's Code of Honor?
That's a white woman gets captured by black men.
Oh, yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah. Nanarude said, everyone got a severe case of horny. That's how, in reference to Cybrosa. Legal Rampage said...
Okay, I don't understand that sentence because, like, it wasn't all that horny. It was just odd.
Yeah, it was weird. It's definitely, like, somebody's specific kink.
I guess, but, like, it wasn't even done well in a kinky kind of way. I don't know.
Legal Rampage said, "Donna greenlight that candle." I had to add the accent because of how they type the words.
Yeah, because she's on the planet they turned into Scotland.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because TNG is silly.
Yeah. It was still like that was. It wasn't even early TNG either when they were like definitely doing like the TOS like worlds thing where like from different cultures.
Tasha Yar got abducted by the Africa planet. Like that's a thing they were doing since day one on TNG.
Yeah, but the like Sub Rosa was like season 7 though. That was at the end of the series. I thought they had like moved past that for the most part by that point.
No, they had to do a quick rerun so that fucking Crusher could go visit her ethereal vibrator.
Oh God.
Finally, I have Van Zach said, the weirdest part of that episode for me is that parts of it just feel like a ripoff of an Anne Rice book, The Witching Hour, but like a bad ripoff. They actually enjoyed the book. Never read that one, but interesting nonetheless.
How up to date on Strange New Worlds are you two?
I watched the 4th episode today.
I have watched the first episode so far,
which was the holodeck episode. While we're on the topic.
Damn it! I gotta think of a different. What the fuck were they thinking? Because I have a very specific one from Strange New Worlds, but I think it's like episode 6 or 7.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about this season. One. You have a TOS one? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a TOS one. Okay, so I know that it's the 60s, and Russia is on the tip of everyone's tongue, right? But why did they have to like purposely make the Klingons look like Mongols and like make that their entire personality?
Yeah.
And then make them wear blackface so that they looked more like alien, I guess. I don't know. It felt so wrong. Like it's probably one of the things that aged the most poorly about the original series.
Not Spock slapping that bitch.
I mean, did she deserve it?
I mean, oh God.
Not really. Like, even for the 60s, not really. He was just emotional because of Ponfar.
Ponfar.
I will say, to this day, I still do not understand how they keep getting away with putting white actors as Klingons. Like, knock that shit off. Actually, I do have a what were they thinking? Is it my turn?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
What the fuck were they thinking bringing the Packlids into Lower Deck? Like, the Packlids were a fucking horrible Down syndrome stereotype. And I don't mean that, like, in a derogatory way. I mean, like, it was a stereotype of people with Down syndrome that was in TNG and needed to fucking stay there. And then they brought them back to Lower Decks. And, like, for a while.
Yeah, there was a whole arc with them.
Yeah, and first of all, the concept is stupid because, like, that's not how intelligence works. Like, they're not dumb because they don't have warp drive. That doesn't make any sense. But also, like, they're not just, like, comically stupid. The Ferengi are that, right? They're, like, specifically, like, a bad, like, mentally challenged person stereotype in every single line that they speak. And I do not know what the fuck they were thinking when they brought that shit back in 2020 something. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin everything with my soapbox, but god damn it, that fucking pisses me off.
No, that's a good one. What are they thinking?
You don't have to add any more if you don't have.
Rob's like, no, I'm going to defend him. Hold on.
No, not to that. I was trying to think of another example.
Chris, do you have one?
No, I don't.
Man, I think it's bullshit. Okay, you know what? What were you thinking? Come up with a potpourri that you weren't even going to participate in.
I did my part. I did all the examples that I already gave.
You know, the ones where you all do Reddit posts are my favorite because you have to read you don't have to, but you read their usernames.
So good.
I am Batman Sucker.
Yeah, Matthew still quotes, I am Batman Sucker.
I think my favorite one from this one was General Krieg's waifu.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who's General Grieg?
I have no idea, but it's funny.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's the waifu that makes it.
Yeah.
Right, I should know if General Grieg was like a Star Trek character or not.
I don't think so. Let's see what comes up.
Watch his Klingon.
It sounds Star Warsy.
The only thing that I came up with, the top thing that came up with was from something called Brim Scythe.
No idea.
I don't know what the fuck this is. Looks like an anime, which, would make the waifu comment seem
a little more apropos.
A little more apropos, yeah. All right, well, if we've got no more examples, we'll wrap it up here. As Stanford said at the top of the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. That helps us a lot and spreads the word on the podcast. We'll catch you all next time.
Night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.